Alright guys, so here's the review of the Sugess Chronograph. So this is actually an homage of the Zenith El Primero. So this is one I've had my eye on for quite a while. You might have seen me show it in an AliExpress video where I was looking at buying some watches. Never went for it then, but the 11/11 sale that had just been, I actually picked one up then. So I actually paid full price, didn't get any discounts or anything, well, apart from the usual coupons and stuff that you can all use. I didn't get any discounts for doing the review. So, just to let you know, but as you know, it's not going to make a difference either way. I'm going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. Apologies if I sound a little bit funny. I've got man flu at the moment, so that's why I've not done like a proper intro. You don't want to see what this is looking like. It's not pretty. But anyway, before we jump into this watch, quickly want to mention one other thing. So I've actually started selling off some of the watches I've got because the collection's just got far too big. It's kind of taking over the house. So I set up a website, started selling some off. The link for that will be down in the description if you want to check it out. If you want to pick any watches up, free shipping around the world. I'm going to be using Royal Mail, so if they can get it there, then you can get it. And if you haven't seen it already, it's the imaginatively named Honest Watch Shop. So I'm sticking to my branding. But anyway, enough waffling, let's get down to this watch. So it comes in this usual packaging you've probably seen for a lot of dive watches from Alexis and Martin, Steel Dive, etc. First time I've had a Sugess one in this kind of packaging, but you always know it's going to arrive in good condition because they have plenty of padding. We've actually got a few other bits in here as well. I'll pop the watch to one side for a minute and quickly go over that. So we've got a removal tool. We've also got a little adjustment tool there as well for doing the micro adjust and removing spring bars if you need to. We've got the instruction manual, but we're not interested in that. Then we've got the warranty card, which isn't signed or dated. And then the only other thing in here is the 2 links I've taken out. So to get this to fit my 7-inch wrist, I've only taken out 2 links, but I have used the micro adjust on it as well. So I'll show you what that's like in a bit. And just to let you know, it is push pins. And here's the actual watch. So I do really like this one. It's a real looker, I think. So before we get into the dimensions, quickly mention there are quite a lot of different dial options for this one. I'll probably pop these up on screen. You've got different dial options, as I say, quite a few. You've also got options if you want this bracelet, or you can get it with a strap. I'd personally recommend getting the bracelet because it isn't that much more expensive, and you can always get fairly cheap straps. But it's always nice to have a bracelet that does specifically fit the watch. So if there is an option, I always tend to go for them. So let's talk about those dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 37mm, thickness of 13.3, lug width of 20, and then the all-important lug to lug coming in at 47.3. So really nice dimensions on this. So let's get a quick zoom in and let's take a look at that dial. So you can see we've got the Sugess branding just printed at the top there. Then we've got those 3 sub-dials which have actually got a little bit of texture to them, a little bit of a circular pattern. Got applied indices, and then we've got that tachymeter around the outside. So when it comes to those sub-dials, you can see the one at the 9 o'clock is the ticking seconds. The one at the 3 o'clock, that's the 30-minute timer for the chrono. And then the one down at the 6, that's just duplicating the actual time. So it's just a 12-hour indicator. When it comes to the hands, got nice proportions on them. We've also got that nice red chrono hand. When it comes to the hour and minute hands, we've actually got a brushed finish on them. So a little bit of texture to them. So they just stand out from that dial. If they were polished, they would kind of blend in a little bit, I think, with certain dial colours. This one in particular. So between that and the fact that you've got that black line through both of them as well, breaking up the lume a bit, also just helps them stand out against the dial. So I do appreciate that. Quickly zoom back out and we'll talk about the rest of it. So we've got nice brushed, well, mainly brushed case. You can see we've got the high polished chamfered edge, brushed on the top. And then this could be a little bit of a sticking point for some people. When it comes to the lugs, they are actually polished. So different finish to the bracelet, which is all brushed, apart from being polished on the side. I personally don't mind this when you're wearing it. I think it looks quite good, but that might put some people off, or if they do get it, they may possibly want to brush these just so they blend in better. But as I say, I don't mind it when it's on wrist. I'll show you what it's like in a bit. Going round to the other side, we've actually got a signed crown there with the S for Sugess, and then she's got the two polished pushers. So quickly show you this in action. So the movement in this is the Seagull ST1902. So that's the swan neck version. In fact, I'll quickly show you that before we show you in action. So it's a fairly old movement now, but I've got a few watches with this in, not had any issues at all. And then we've got the usual kind of spec sheet around the outside there. So the fact that it's a chronograph, mechanical, 50 meter water resistance, 316L stainless steel, and then the model number. You can see we've got solid end links as well, and it's all 316L as you'd expect. I'll show you that in action. So obviously top pusher starts the chrono hand, starts ticking, press it again, stop it, press the bottom one, resets. All nicely lined up, no issues there at all. And then when it comes to the crown, it's just a push-pull crown. So pull it out and change the time. Pop it back in, and you got the hand winding. Nice and smooth, all works well. Obviously with it being mechanical, you want to be careful you don't overwind it especially. But obviously don't underwind it either, because you don't have a rotor. So when it comes to that clasp, you've actually got a signed clasp as well, the Sugess branding. You've actually got a polished fold over for some reason, not entirely sure why it's polished. And then double pushers, milled clasp, all the kind of stuff you'd expect. And when it comes to that clasp, we've got plenty of micro adjust there. So as I said, I've only had to take out 2 links and I've got it on the second hole, but you've got 6 micro adjust there, so sizing will not be an issue at all. So now let's check out whether we've got sapphire crystal. Using the trusty down select tool. And yep, we've got sapphire crystal. Quickly test out the back. No, we've got mineral on the back, which isn't all that surprising. That's normally the way it is with AliExpress watches. And when it comes to that crystal, it is a really nice domed one, which again does add a little bit of thickness, but I think it's worth it. And you can see we've also got a little bit of AR on that. So now let's check out what that Lume's like. So you can see we've got a bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So I was pleasantly surprised when I first checked this one out. Chronographs don't normally have the best lean, because there isn't a great deal of surface area to play with, and just this kind of style of watch just doesn't tend to have that much. But as I say, with this one, pleasantly surprised. A lot better than I was expecting. Obviously it doesn't last as long as a diver, but when it comes to chronograph watches, this is probably the best one I've got in terms of lean. So pretty impressive. And I do like that they've loomed those sub dials as well. Nice little touch. And obviously the chrono hand as well. So, as I say, pleasantly surprised. A lot better than you'd expect for this kind of style of watch. So, all that's left to do now, show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So, this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And as I say, it does wear really nicely, with those compact dimensions, curvature to both lugs as well. Just hugs your wrist. And the bracelet sizing is absolutely fine. One little nitpick is this is a little on the loose side. There's a little bit of a gap there. Not ideal, but by no means a deal breaker. But something to be aware of. Don't know if that's going to be like that on all of them. Obviously, as you can see, mine is. But otherwise, the bracelet is really comfortable. No issues there at all. And as I say, plenty of micro adjusts, sizing perfect. And you can see now that polished chamfer catching the light, as well as those polished lugs, which, as I say, some people might not like, but I think it works. And again, if you don't like it, and you do really want this watch, I guess you could always try and brush them to match the bracelet if you prefer that. Match the rest of the case. And again, I am a sucker for a domed crystal, so I love that. So I'm really happy with this. I definitely recommend it if you're into this kind of style of watch. And don't forget, they have lots of different dial options, and as I say, if you're not keen on this bracelet, you can also get it on a strap as well, which is slightly cheaper. So you should be able to find something you do like, if you do like this kind of style. If you like Sugess generally, I've got quite a few other reviews of Sugess watches, chronographs, so check them out as well. And if you are interested in trying to pick up any of the watches that I've reviewed previously, don't forget to check out that link to the shop in the description, because I'm going to be listing quite a few on there, because as I say, you need to reduce the size of the collection quite a bit, so you might find something on there you do like. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.